Hey there, everybody. It's the private MLB algorithm video for Tuesday, April 9th. So some changes when it comes to using different combinations and using different pitching years. If you caught the video, public video that I did earlier today, uh, it was so much better yesterday to have used 2024 pitching stats. Like it was not even a contest. There were 200 and something combinations when using the current year pitching stats that resulted in 8 and 5 day yesterday. And the best you could do using 2023 pitching stats was like a 6 and 7 day. It was just awful. So there must be something to that. We start having worse and worse days with the algorithm. That means that you need to adjust to the new year stats. So that's what I've done this year for today. The only person who we couldn't do that with was Sonny Gray. He's apparently making his first start this year. So we're going with this combination 385. And this is what it looks like. And surprisingly, it's looking a lot like the odds makers. So I'm wondering if that's what the odds makers are doing as well with this. As you can see, you've got the three biggest favorites at the top. I mean, this is very close to the odds makers. We've got Pittsburgh higher than they do. And we've got a couple underdogs way down low here. Kansas City over Houston and Seattle over Toronto. So I'm just surprised to see this aligning so well with the odds makers. There must be something to that, or they have already got a copy of the algorithm and they're just using it and put it out to the public too much. But anyway, let's go through game by game and take a look at anything reasonable, like what kind of round robin we put together today. Well, like there's this pick that seems to be higher than the odds makers say, this Pittsburgh over Detroit. Casey Mize had a really rough start. That's probably why. And Martin Perez pitched excellent. I don't know why this is only minus 116. This looks like one of the best value picks of the day. Is this early Pittsburgh game at 12:30. So keep that in mind. Baltimore and Boston. Closer game. Has Baltimore barely winning a very low scoring game because Corbin Burns pitches really well. Only minus 130. So Baltimore's on the list. It's deep on the list, but a lot of consistency in everything except for bullpen ERA factors in favor of Boston. Other than that, line factor looks pretty good. I see why it's a close, low scoring game. Interesting. If Baltimore doesn't hit Brian Bello early in that game, this game probably stays under, and the over-under is set at 8. White Sox in Cleveland. We've talked about how the White Sox stink. Logan Allen's already 2-0. Michael Soroka is actually an okay pitcher, but it's just having trouble with the White Sox this year. They just don't produce. So Cleveland at the minus 210 line, they did it yesterday. They probably do it again today. Milwaukee and Cincinnati. Low ERAs for these pitchers. Joe Ross and Frankie Montas. Frankie Montas starting off 2-0 already this season, pitching great. Good line here. Once again, a low scoring game in Cincinnati. I don't believe, so these point projections are a little bit lower with 2024 stats because you've got this really limited, like his ERA is not going to be 0.77 the entire year. So this is, keep an eye on that. Understand that your point projections are going to be a little distorted, more distorted than normal when you're using just these pitching stats. But when you're looking for a winner, it should be okay. So Cincinnati, not bad. Miami and the Yankees. Yankees winning games. AJ Puke, ERA of 9 so far this year. Yankees probably winning. Seattle and Toronto. Here we have a high scoring game, it says, because Chris Bassett has been letting people hit off him all year. And these bullpens are terrible. So there's an over coming in this game, most likely, over 8. Mets in Atlanta. Atlanta finds a way to blow the game to the Mets last night. ERAs. Adam Hauser's okay. And Ronaldo Lopez, they both don't have any decisions this year, but they've pitched pretty darn well, the two of them. So all things being equal, Atlanta probably wins that game. The line's actually not as bad as it was in previous days. Houston, Kansas City. See, yeah, really low scoring game because you've only got 11 innings pitched and Christian Javier hasn't even given up a run yet. You can't trust this score here. Watch the score end up being 2-2, by the way. Cole Reagan's also pitching great. Too close to call in this game. It's just too close to call. Houston started to wake up and play a little better. Dodgers over Minnesota. Tyler Glasnow. Louis Varland has had a rough start with an ERA of almost 7 so far. Dodgers probably win that game. Philly and St. Louis. Here it has Philly. Zach Wheeler's 0-1, even though he pitched really well. Sonny Gray's stats are from last year, so that's that weird comparison between last year and this year. It says Philly would win that game. Texas 11-1 over Sacramento. Alex Wood giving up a lot of runs. So Texas is probably going to hit them pretty well. Texas team run's not a bad idea today. Arizona, Colorado. Arizona did not do it yesterday. Boy, it really favors Arizona in this game with those distorted Colorado pitching stats sometimes. But Merrill Kelly is generally a really strong pitcher and has been so far this year. 1-0 with an ERA under 2. So it's probably Arizona there. Also, not a terrible line for Arizona. Tampa Bay over the Angels. They did not do it last night, but they have Aaron Savale going tonight. Sandoval's 1-1, but ERA is a little bit higher. Probably goes in favor of Tampa Bay, but they did not play well last night at all. So I don't know if I want to take that one. Washington beat San Francisco last night, but they got Josiah's 14.04 ERA. Look at how distorted these scores are. That's what you get with these crazy pitching stats for 22, but you get really distorted scores. So don't trust this score, but probably San Francisco wins this game. And then to finish off, will the Cubs blow an 8-run lead again? Apparently, the algorithm says they will not win, and they might blow another lead. Ben Brown's in dire straits with an 11 ERA, and Joe Musgrove is better, so San Diego probably wins again tonight. So, round robin wise, Texas, Arizona, Cleveland, Yankees, Dodgers, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, San Francisco. I'm going to stay away from Tampa Bay, so you know they're probably going to win. Stay away from Philly because there's that weird 2023 situation. Baltimore looked good. Philly looked okay too there. Or was it Philly with the situation? 1 second. Philly. Yeah, no, Sonny, that's right. Sonny Gray's situation. So it's really about these. And I'm partial toward Baltimore actually as well. So there's 8 big ones on there. And as you can see, the algorithm agrees with that in terms of margin. So you're looking at all these games are almost above 20% margin. So when it comes to a big round robin, if you want to try to go 6-2 or better, it's going to be those 8 teams. Texas, Arizona, Cleveland, the Yankees, the Dodgers, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco. All favorites. Pittsburgh with the most favorable line. You're going to see a mixed bag more down on these games, but you probably win half of them or better. You probably go like 4-3 down here. All right, so we'll see what kind of day it is. Good luck. May all your picks be winning.